Welcome, wayward souls, to another thrilling episode of Top Hats and Tombstones. I'm Cameron Holt. I'll be your game master for the evening. I'm joined, as always, by the incredible Arcana crew. Cheers, Arcana crew.
Hello.
Hi.
Greetings.
If you have made it to episode 3 of Top Hats and Tombstones, that's this one that you're watching right now,
Currently.
then thanks. That means you probably are at least enjoying the series. So I ask of you, share episode 1, tell your friends, subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already, and follow on Twitch if you haven't already, because then you get to see the episodes 2 days early. And that's the best way to let us know what you like to see.
Also, we're in the chat, so come talk to us.
That's true.
Get in the chat.
Also, comments with a new likes. Leave a comment.
Get in the chat.
Get him!
Get in there. Go on, get in the
Go on now, get! We rejoin our stalwart survivors as they flee into the cobblestone streets of Thistlewick, where a strange affliction has driven the citizens into a violent frenzy. Screams and rifle fire, some distant and some too close for comfort, alert all of you that this perhaps is not a situation that will calmly blow over. A chill wind blows tendrils of snow across the stone streets in the darkness of night as exhaustion begins to set in. The bells at the Cathedral of the One God resound in the distance, reminding you all that it is now 2 a.m. and you have been on the run since Luminara Festival ended some 3 hours prior. Adrenaline has brought you this far, but even that is beginning to fade, which you can see on the faces of your fellow survivors. Along with Dr. Angus Blair and Constance Hargreaves is also the man from the hospital, whom none of you have had the time to identify. Where are all of you headed in this moment?
Well, I'm very tired. I think I'm gonna go home, get a nap, and wait for the salt to very calmly blow over.
In the distance.
Oh, God. I don't know if it's going to calmly blow over, given what we're hearing and seeing.
Drats.
That was your first and only solution, really, huh?
Yeah, actually, still plan A. Back to the Manor sounds pretty good, I think.
How secure is your home?
Fairly, I'd say. Keeps the rabble out.
Okay.
All right, well, the
well,
rabble will come with you this time. That's all. That's all of us.
Oh, you're the. Oh, it's funny.
Thanks.
It's funny. It's the rabble.
Okay.
I'll be the rabble.
You're the rabble.
Oh.
You're definitely the rabble.
Hi.
Yeah.
Can it keep the squirmy, wormy rabble out, though?
Can it?
I mean, probably, yeah. It's a lavish stone manor house. St. Clair Manor is a little bit secluded in terms of where most of the populace of the city is, which could be to your benefit, mostly because of its nature of being near the racetrack, as your father is the horse baron of Thorncroft and provides most of the horse transportation and workhorses that are needed throughout the city.
They walk.
Horse fights.
Horses.
Not transportation for the
No,
horses.
the horses
but
are the
as
transportation.
I
Yes. And
understand.
I was like, yeah, is there like trains for horses?
Yes, motorized vehicles are still on the up and up in this time period. So horses are used a lot, especially for like pulling wagons that are delivering goods and things of that nature. A lot of workhorses, but also a number of race horses. That's the good stock.
You said that we had Dr. Blair with us,
Yes,
right? And
you
Nurse
have-
Cordelia, right?
No, Nurse Cordelia.
We left her.
Yeah, Nurse Cordelia didn't make it. You
Was she abandoned or?
I think she was
And
high
she-
as fuck and we abandoned her,
She
right?
went back to the patient ward. Nurse Cordelia. Nurse Cordelia is the one who delivered you guys to the storeroom, and then went to get sutures from the back storeroom,
Oh.
and that was the last time you saw her.
Got it.
Constance Hargreaves is with you.
Okay, I was
And-
about to ask about her too.
And yes, Constance is still tripping balls
Yeah.
on the laudanum, or
It's a lozenge of
the laudanum lozenge. That was,
Yeah.
or
I was
something.
making
Yeah, it's a
making NPC notes. So I had Dr. Bithers, zombie, Nurse Cordelia, abandoned, Constance Hargraves, hypochondriac,
yes.
and then we'll go from there.
Yeah,
And-
Constance,
and hospital dude.
Dr. Angus Blair,
And man.
and yeah, hospital man who's
Man
been
number one.
very quiet. He's got some like blood spatter on his face from the burning woman that was trying to attack him in the hospital walls.
Whoops.
And yeah, he seems like he's seen some shit.
So this is just like a guy. This isn't like the guy from the walls.
No,
Okay.
you haven't seen him.
Which have not seen him.
Does anybody? Yeah, I'm just gonna put a cigarette in his mouth and light it. There you go, friend.
Thank you. I appreciate this.
Just like everybody smokes back then, so it sounded like
So, the path to St. Clair Manor. You have two options. You can either cut through the factory district, which will be more direct, and but will lead through a more populated area. Also, you would be aware the factories don't close, so there are certain to be people present there, which could be good or could be bad. The other option is to take a roundabout path through the woods, which is much less direct and will take a bit longer, but is less populated with humans. However, you would all be aware that's bear country.
ah yes, our island bears, very
Yes.
vicious.
Yeah,
But
as
it
you
is
guys are, Thorncroft is a relatively small island in the terms of like Japan being a small island. It is not vast, but it's also not teeny tiny. It's not like you can walk the perimeter of the island in a single day. There's a mountain range on the westernmost side that you're kind of sidled up against. So if you were to go into the woods, you'd be at the foothills of the mountains, walking through the forest, and that's where most of the bears in this country live. That on this island live. That people hunt for sport.
So, like, how long of a travel is it to Tartberry Port?
To Tartberry Port, you would be heading north from your current position, and with horse and buggy, it would probably be about a 6-hour endeavor.
But we don't have a horse and buggy.
What about
No,
nobody, just
yeah,
horse?
but that gives me an idea of how.
No buggy, just horse would be similar. Yeah, it's not much faster.
Racehorse.
Racehorses, that could be a game changer.
All right. Probably we should cut through town, right?
But like all it's
the
people. It's all happening around a lot.
Well, we don't know for certain that this, whatever this is, virus or parasite, we don't know for certain that it's not also affecting animals. I'd hate to come across a grizzly that's got those pulsing eyes.
I'd hate to come across a grizzly in any case.
Certainly.
But what are the odds of that, like, compared to a factory? People?
Chances are slim, but if there are people, there's more of a chance of there being survivors. Also, there's a number of weapons manufacturing factories on the island that produce guns and rifles for all of Grand Albrosia. It's one of our leading exports, next to just raw steel. We could potentially procure some of that, or perhaps those inside the factories have already begun setting things right. Maybe that's the resounding gunshots that we're hearing in the distance.
Success.
Gunshots are a good sound, I think.
I don't think that the...
Sometimes.
I noticed on our way out there was one of those monsters that you'd put in one of the patient rooms, and it didn't seem to have let itself out. We don't have locks on those rooms, so it stands to reason that they don't have an intelligence level that would lead them to be able to use tools or even open doors with their hands.
So we can presume that this virus diminishes cognition.
Certainly.
At the very least, we could probably guess that they would be bad shots if they got a gun.
Most likely. And it would probably rely on the gun being stuck in their hand for some reason.
Also, the more of this virus that we see, the more likely we're able to figure out what it is. Maybe stop it.
Additionally, we're all carrying a not insignificant amount of meat on our persons, which could attract a bear if we were in the forest.
I was wondering what that smell was.
We got
Just raw meat.
I got curious.
Much of it is
I got
preserved,
here, me
yes.
too. Yeah.
I think only a dealer could have.
raw meat.
Yep, just rocking with that.
I do have some dry-aged steaks on my person as well.
Nice. And some
And you
tri-tips.
just have bread
Tri-tip and duck breast, apparently.
The frog wall.
Didn't you want?
Frog wall.
You were gonna
Frog
shove it in
wall.
the zombie's
Yeah.
face.
That is possible. It's been a while.
But,
Forgot about the
I mean-
frog wall.
Frog wall.
the other man speaks up. But, I mean, not to play the evil one's advocate, but do you think perhaps the 7 of us would have more chance of being able to take a single grizzly bear than maybe
No.
a pack of 50 to 60 infected civilians?
No,
No.
we can outrun those civilians. We could not outrun a grizzly bear.
That's
But
fair.
what is-
I have no experience with these things.
What is the likelihood of a grizzly bear trying to come across 7 people?
That's my point.
It would be
you know?
attracted by the smell of us.
Right, but they tend to avoid large groups of humans.
Are you sure?
I have heard. That might be my black bear pamphlet.
Are any of you avid bear hunters?
No, I've worked on stuffing a bear, but I did not engage in taking it down.
I dissected a bear for school once.
What kind of a school did you go to?
Thorncroft University.
Well, you don't always have human cadavers, so
Not?
I just look down at like my meat cleaver and my meat tenderizer, and I go,
I'm pretty sure my weapons would be useless against a grizzly bear.
I have a bone saw. I don't think that's gonna do it.
And they'll be useful against a horde of feral, 50 to 60 feral people.
Again, we can outrun them.
Now, as a follow-up,
Maybe.
if we could
Or
throw
perhaps
some
outsmart
laudanum down a bear's face, that might do something.
Perhaps.
So, basically, we're up against a boss fight or a horde.
Right.
I mean, potentially. I think it's best to prepare for the worst.
Well, fuck it. I say we go through the
We
factories.
had a trouble with 2 of them. And we're talking about how many? 50 plus? I don't know.
Impossible to say.
It's true.
We won't know until we try who's winning, as it were.
Well, we've learned a couple of things so far. One is that they don't seem to be able to use those eyes.
You want to flip a coin?
Oh, sure. Does everybody feel fair about that?
I'm all right with that.
Let's do it.
we say 1 through 3 heads, 4 through 6 tails.
I'm done.
Which is corresponding to what?
So
Heads and tails.
1 through 3 would be
For-
to the factory. 4 through 6 would be the
woods.
woods.
okay, flipping coin. 4. Woods.
Good.
All right.
Does everyone feel safe about that? Anybody want to change your minds?
I mean, I don't feel safe either way.
Yes,
I
I
feel
don't
like
think
there's
anybody feels
no
safe.
good
but
answer.
Neither
yeah.
feels good.
Right.
I look down at my cat. I say,
So you'll let us know if you smell a bear, won't you?
That's not his job.
I'm
I
asking
think
a favor.
that's maybe his job right now.
Think of bears as giant rats.
Oh, all right.
Oh.
That makes them much more scary, actually.
I don't like it.
Having this conversation tucked into a quiet alleyway, you peer out into the road and peel off into the woods. It's not hard to find a hunter's trail pretty quickly. This area is relatively well-traveled, though secluded. You enter what was once a serene refuge from the bustling city, which is now a forest that stands as a collection of gnarled trees creaking and rustling in the chill winter breeze. There seem to be secrets harbored in the dappled moonlight that peers through the darkened branches. The scent of damp earth and decaying foliage creeps up through the snow-dusted ground. Each rustle of leaves and underbrush brings mental visions of wandering wigglers, or worse, grizzled brown bears that roam these grounds.
Didn't know you were Robert Frost.
What conversation, if any, takes place as you traverse the darkened woods?
Well, to your point, being noisy might make a bear think twice, but being noisy might attract some of those infected.
I think any of them have made it out this far.
Can't know.
I mean, if they're that reactive to sound, if one of them was walking on the streets and saw a jackrabbit, or heard a jackrabbit, I guess, skittering into the woods, they may have run after it. I think it's best to assume that there could be anything out here. Kind of like having this conversation as you've like just entered, and the other gentleman that's with you kind of straightens up. Are we certain that we want to go with the route of woods? Because I feel like when we were planning it was grizzly bear or wigglers, and now it's wigglers or wigglers and grizzly bear.
Well, there'll be less wigglers here. Less chance of a horde of them.
Unless there's wiggly grizzly bears.
What about a horde of wiggly grizzly bears? That would be much worse, right?
I think that is
Grizzly
unlikely.
bears going horde?
No, they're...
No, but if they're wiggling... I don't know. I don't know what the wigglers do. They seem to hoard up.
I think that we should just keep moving.
It's good.
All right.
Is there, you took damage last time.
A little.
Would medical intervention be able to get rid of that?
Yeah, but
Kinda
you
like patch it
you
up.
probably have to like stop and
Ooh.
like rest for a second.
We'll deal with it later. Try not to die.
We can do that at St. Clair Manor.
You continue into the darkened woods, and the ground becomes less even as you kind of enter the foothills of the mountains. It's not an easy hike that you've all undertaken in your fancy Victorian clothing.
How's Adelia getting along in maybe the least convenient clothes?
Like trying to hold up the skirts and just
Just keep catching on briars. All of your clothes are becoming much more like tattered and getting some definite rips in certain areas. It's also getting very cold as a light snow is beginning to fall, and we are in the heart of winter.
Well, presumably we all have winter clothes on then.
Certainly,
right?
but they're getting caught and torn.
It's late though, like it's getting colder.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're well below freezing at this point. After about an hour of trekking through the cold, dark woods, you find yourselves nearing the area where you presume there would be an exit into the space where St. Clair Manor would be. As you're traveling, you hear the snap of a twig nearby. Everyone freezes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a light rustling of the leaves before a voice calls out. You there? What are all of you doing? Why are you out here? And pushing through the thick underbrush is a woman who has brown hair that's pulled tight into a tight bun, thick scarf around her neck, as well as brown trousers, a tight-fitting vest over a white blouse, and a heavy fur coat. Standing up very straight, and you can see she's, in her hands, has a very thick barreled rifle that you presume to be some sort of blunderbuss. As she steps forward. What in the blazes are all of you doing out here?
we're heading to St. Clair Manor.
Through the woods? At 3 o'clock in the morning?
Don't you know what's happened?
No. Don't you know there are bears in these parts?
Don't you know that people are going insane all over the island?
I've not heard of this. I've been on a hunt since last eve.
You haven't heard the gunshots and commotion in the distance?
I figured it was other hunters trying to lay their claim on the same beast that I'm after.
That many, that late at night?
Perhaps. Nighttime's the best time to hunt bears.
That
Well,
doesn't seem
what
true.
beefs?
Oh, there's a massive grizzly in these parts. Forgive me, I'm Octavia Blackwood, professional adventurer. And she kind of like pauses and waits for a reaction. And when none
Right.
comes,
Oh.
Would I have heard of
Pleased
that
to meet you.
name?
um,
As someone who's into taxidermy?
oh, maybe, I'll say, yeah, go ahead and roll a brains check to see if you recall this woman.
Not my finest, but let's see what we've got.
We'll call it a difficulty of 5.
Oh, it's possible. It's possible. No, not great. A 1. Well, 2.
Yeah, take an adversity card. No, you have never heard of Octavia Blackwood before.
Alas.
Ezekiel Ashford, nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
I don't know if you know of the situation right now, but we're in... The city is in peril.
I see. You all look quite disheveled.
I see
on
you
the glass
have.
with the power.
Smoothing.
You're
Drop
well
down.
prepared. Have armaments.
Indeed, I've got my blunderbuss.
And
Oh, and I've also got a hunting knife in case things go awry. She pulls it out. It's like this massive Bowie knife, like tucks it back into her belt.
that's not a lie.
I feel like I would be remiss if I were not to warn you all that I am hot on the trail of a massive grizzly that is prowling somewhere in this area.
And when you say hot on its trail, would it be in that direction? And I point towards the St. Clair Manor.
Yes, that's the direction that I was headed, to the south.
Son of a bitch.
Yes, I just came across a pile of steaming dung, still hot.
Right, of course. Of course. What do you guys think? Detour or
So, just checking in. How often do grizzly bears get onto your property? Out of curiosity.
how often would they?
You're not sure.
That.
I was gonna go into a thing about like how the trash and garbage is disposed of, but you don't care about that or even have to do that.
No idea.
You've got people for that.
It's just blank. Shrug.
You've never, well, actually, just roll me a luck check on a d20, and we'll say 11 or higher is what you're after.
Nope, that's an 8.
Yeah, no, you don't know anything about bears in this area.
I didn't know there were bears on this island until a couple of minutes ago. Wild.
Yes,
You've
but actually,
lived here your whole life. Mm-hmm. Okay, just checking.
yes, well, it's actually quite fascinating. You know, a lot of people were not sure how such large creatures could sustain themselves on such a small island with very little game other than the few white-tailed deer that exist and, various jackrabbits and the like. But there is such a massive population of rats on Thorncroft that they have a never-ending food source. You could never kill all of the rats that we have on this island.
I mean, not with that attitude.
Yeah, the cat just
Is this cat larger than average?
No.
Well muscled.
I seriously
Beef cat.
thought you were going to say there's a huge supply of horses for them. It's just like,
Never-ending amounts of horses.
I mean, that too. Harder to get to, though.
All right, well, Miss St. Clair here, she's one of the people who lives on the property, so if you came
Lady
with
St.
us,
Clair.
at least you wouldn't have any problems with security chasing you out.
I see, Lady St. Clair. I'm aware of your father's position on the island.
oh yes, there are many who are. But Miss, would you be so kind as to escort us back to the St. Clair Manor in hunt of your great beast?
Certainly.
We can tell you about what's happened on the island. You can decide if you wish to join us or continue your search for this beast.
Right. She reaches into her thick fur coat, which you presume to be, now getting a better look at it in the moonlight, is probably a bear pelt that she's wearing.
Sick.
She reaches
Heavy.
in and pulls out a pocket watch and opens it up and kind of checks the time.
I'm sorry, did you have somewhere else to be?
Well, I have been pursuing this large bear
Right,
for
that's what we're
the better
saying.
part of probably 5 or 6 hours. So I would love, now that I've closed in on it, finishing the job.
Right, that's what we're saying, is that if
What-
the bear is on her property, you
Well,
should
both.
come with us.
Oh, certainly. I feel much better.
Heightens the senses.
It's like I can see more than I could.
Everything's
Would you all
in high
like to join
definition.
me as I finish up the hunt, and then I could escort you afterwards? Of course, you could stay behind at a safe distance.
I love that you start talking faster.
Right, so you said the bear is on the property that we're headed to.
Right. Well, I don't know if it's on the property, but it's certainly in that direction, yes.
Well, we'll hit one or the other sooner enough.
Yes, the longer that I stand here talking is, more likely that it's going to happen. Or, if you would like to continue on your way, I can continue on my way. Perhaps they're in the same direction, and I could offer you protection if anything should come about.
Sure.
Excellent. This way. Kind of tucks down and starts walking. The whole time, Dr. Angus and the other guy are kind of giving each other this look of okay.
And we still haven't explained what's going on.
Yeah. she's very
Now she's
she's got a,
amped up and has a gun.
yeah. She's on a quest.
You gotta stop doing that.
She continues forward. Do you guys follow Octavia or specifically continue towards St. Clair Manor?
Oh, I'm sticking with Octavia. Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I don't.
mean, as long
I don't
as-
want to get eaten by a
Okay.
bear.
As long as it's in the same direction.
Yeah, I was going to
roughly.
say, it doesn't really matter. You're both going the same direction.
Right.
Okay.
As I had suspected.
As she takes on like this very, like she's very like upstanding, upright, proper like explorer of a Brit of a bros.
An Elbrus.
The very very classic, explorer archetype. Very. I imagine her as sort of similar to the captain in Treasure Planet. You know what I mean? That very like, I've never been afraid of anything.
I love Treasure.
But she takes on this almost like animal aspect now. You're not sure if it's the drugs that she was just given or if she's just like enthralled with the hunt, but she kind of like hunches down and will occasionally like bend over and like touch her hands to the ground as well and like feel over parts of the
Eating
trail.
dirt.
You see she kind of like moves her hand over this. Yeah, it's not even for the tracking. She just kind of like rubs it against her teeth. She moves her hands over this fallen log that has been snapped in half and turns over her shoulder. We're getting close now. Stay quiet, everyone. And she continues forward. And eventually you kind of step off of this trail and out into the thick underbrush. And as you're pressing through, she holds a hand out to stop all of you, and then crouches down and points forward. You see, just ahead of you in the brush, maybe about 20 feet ahead, is a wide shape of a massive brown bear.
Giant eyeballs.
She quietly, brings the rifle over, settles it into her shoulder, and begins to take aim. And as she does,
I am backing up.
make me a flight check. Difficulty of, I'm going to call it 6. This is not to flee. This is to not alert this being to your presence.
Okay.
This is going to go great.
Yeah, that's a 10 for Adelia.
Nice.
What was the DC?
6.
I got a 3.
Okay. Roll for your companions as well.
11.
If I spend an adversity token, I have a 6.
Nice. Cecil, as you're all staying very quiet, you kind of also go to crouch down. And then there's a little from your pouch. And then, there's like a moment of still where you see Octavia kind of freezes. She almost kind of jumps at the meow. The shape ahead of you also shifts. And before you can be certain if it heard you or not, Constance Hargreaves is standing right next to you, and she goes,
no.
"Would you shut that damn cat up?" Oh my god. And the bear extends to its full height, easily 7 feet tall, turning in your direction. And as it turns around, you see these pulsing, massive stalks. Octavia is going to fire on the bear with her blunderbuss.
And that's it. She kills it.
Oh god.
No more problems.
So, Octavia is an adventurer. She has a d20 for her fight,
Nice.
and with the blunderbuss gets to add 3 to her fight rolls.
Hell yeah.
In addition to being skilled with firearms, she gets another +1 on top of that, so +4 to this roll total.
Nice.
That's a 12.
Great.
Unfortunately, this grizzly bear,
It's a bear.
its brawn is also a d20. It rolls a 13. There's a glancing blow. You see some of the fur gets deflected. As this shot rings out and echoes through the forest, the creature's head, and any of you who have actually visited the Thistlewick Exotic Creature Pavilion, the zoo to the north, of course, you would have seen captive bears and kind of how they move. This bear is not moving like a bear would move. It's very uncanny valley, how it just kind of like shifts its perception towards what that sound was, and as it does, the eyes kind of like wiggle and like trail behind the head, continuing to pulse.
Ready.
And there's a split second where she fires, and you see that it did not take this creature down. What is everyone doing?
I'm gonna get the fuck away from both Constance and Octavia. Like, anything that was just making noise, I'm gonna scatter in a different direction.
Okay. I will say the bear is like standing directly between, like, you would guess that maybe like 30 or 40 yards behind this bear is where the tree line breaks and St. Clair Manor is there. Do you like cut to the right and just keep going right, or are you trying to go around?
I think I'm just trying to not even worry about where the house is. I'm just trying to get away from the sources of noise, knowing that that's probably the bear's going to go after.
Excellent.
So even if I'm not going directly right, I might even be going back a little bit, just to where like
Nice.
Constance is closer to the bear than me.
Okay, go ahead and make a flight check. This is going to be a difficulty of 4. This is just to not make any noise that would draw attention to you rather than the explosion that just went off.
All right, Adelia, don't scream. That's an 8.
Nice. Adelia, very quietly, silently, just like starts running away. What are the rest of you up to?
She does.
I'm gonna take one of my bottles of tincture, and can I throw it in the opposite direction to try and hit like a tree or a rock or something?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
make like a new noise at
For
a different
sure.
place?
I'm going to say that's very clever. Go ahead and make a brains check. However, this is going to be a difficulty of 11 to make a more distracting sound than the gunshot that just happened.
Hey.
13.
Nice. You throw the tincture, it explodes and shatters against the tree, and as it does, that tree was dried and cracked and certainly already dead. As the tincture hits it, it shatters. There's also a crack and the tree falls and hits the ground, and you see as the bear's attention shifts in that direction. What are the rest of you up to? We've got Ezekiel. We've got Ezekiel and Cecil.
I'm going to move the opposite direction that the bear's attention went and try to put like a large tree or something between myself and the bear, if possible.
Okay, go ahead and make me a flight check. I will tell you the difficulty on this is going to be 5.
Explode!
I got it.
Please.
A 1. As you
Flight
go,
is my worst.
as you go to turn
gotta
and
check.
flee in the opposite direction,
Good call.
Constance Hargreaves standing right next to you. You turn to run. You see she has brandished a syringe, and she stabs it into your leg and pushes you over. And then she's going to run in a different direction. She's very much trying to use you as a distraction so she can survive.
That.
Constance, more like Constance.
Okay.
Paying extra from now on.
And what about you, Ezekiel? You see all of this going down. Octavia has begun reloading and is like shoving gunpowder down into the blunderbuss.
It's going to be like, nice to meet you. Good luck with your bear. I'm going to try to help you up. I'm like,
Excellent.
we have to be going.
Yeah, can I
best of
try
luck.
to grab the other arm?
We'll get to you because
Okay.
since you've already acted,
Sure.
we're going to do Ezekiel, and then we're going to do your father and the bear, and then we'll continue. I would say you could make that a flight check.
Oh, hell yeah. 12.
Nice.
12, excellent. Yeah, you pull the
Oh, wait.
syringe out.
That explodes.
It explodes.
That does
yeah.
explode, yeah.
22.
You fireman carry him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say on a flight check, you pull the syringe out from Cecil's leg. Constance had a lucky hit, and it seems to have hit a nerve, but pulling it out, needles are so thin that you barely even feel the pain. It was more the shock of pain and then being knocked off balance. Ezekiel helps you get righted, and the two of you actually flee out and around from where the bear is, who its attention is just kind of now peering back in the direction of where the group was standing after the tree has fallen.
Was I injected with anything? By that,
No,
that
it was
syringe?
empty.
Okay.
You get the sense it was something that
Question.
she had just like grabbed because she had like the hat
Am I
rack.
high right now?
what are the long-term effects of which?
No. She's so doped up she didn't have the forethought to like fill it with something. She was just like, you get the sense when she was alone in that room, she was like grabbing anything that she could use as a weapon, and has attempted to defend herself.
Leave both the high as fuck NPCs to deal with themselves.
I think that's going to bring us to Constance because she started everything off. Constance is coked up right now, and she is adventurous and not afraid of anything. She's going to take another shot at that
Oh,
bear.
that's Octavia.
Oh,
Octavia.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
did I say Constance?
Yeah.
My bad. Octavia.
And then Dr. Blair, too.
Oh, yeah, Dr.
And
Blair.
The random hospital
I'm
dude.
going to say Dr. Blair is following the group that is fleeing. He's he's definitely not going to try and fight this bear. I'll say no roll required.
that.
No roll required for him. He's just like quietly like stepping through. There's the crunching of leaves, obviously, but there's about to be a much louder sound. Okay, that's a 21
Ooh.
Okay, good luck, bear.
Okay.
fight check.
The bear gets a 22. So.
Explodes 40.
That's only a 16.
Nice.
Ooh, that fails by 5, and the bear takes 2 harm.
I guess the real question is how
Get him,
many,
you
Bears
crazy
can take
bitch.
10 harm.
how many harms do infected bears have?
I will say this creature has 5.
Okay.
It would take 5 harm to
Yeah,
fell
fuck
it.
bears.
But she blasts one of its eye stalks off and takes a chunk out of its head.
Aw.
It lets out a growl, or more of like a bellowing snarl, and pads forward through the ground and is going to try and return the favor. It's going to make a fight check against Octavia.
This lady's built out of something else.
That is only a difficulty of 7. It does add 3 to its fight checks on a d12. She's going to pull out her knife at her belt and make a conflicting fight check against
Hell
it.
yes. Oh, this is sick.
Damn, that's a 17, natural
Holy
17.
shit, did she
Nice.
just kill the bear?
We're playing Kids on Bikes. She's playing D&D.
Wait, is that enough to kill the bear?
It rolled a 7.
7.
Yeah.
So 10.
So by 10?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She rolled a
So
17.
that's 3 harm.
That's 3 harm.
Holy
Holy fuck!
You guys watch.
Fucking across.
yeah.
The beauty of this system is like you just describe how you used your best stat and things can go well for you.
Good lord.
This infected bear rushes forward. Octavia, she doesn't even flinch. She stands and pulls the knife out
Badass.
over her head, and as it is about to lunge and just like bite into her torso, she brings the knife down over its, like just in the back of its skull, which pierces through where the spine connects to the skull, and it just falls limp right in front of her. And she like stands there for a moment before pulling the knife free and just yelling into the night. Do the rest of you continue
Oh
on?
my god. Fuck yes, Octavia. That was sick.
I don't think I've managed to follow everybody yet. Am I the only witness to this?
Just like
and
panting
hospital
heavily,
guys?
just like,
I
fuck the
almost
underground horse
wonder,
fights. We need bear fights like this. Think of how much money we can make.
how does Cecil feel about this?
I mean, it was well executed. Very efficient.
He's blushing.
She kind of like takes a piece of her hair that's fallen out of the bun and like tucks it behind her ear. Well then,
She unbuttons her shirt.
shall we continue to your father's manor house?
Yes.
Did-
Yes.
Yeah.
She cleans the knife and puts it back in.
So are you gonna take that?
Yeah. What?
Well, it seems that there's some dire situation. I've never seen a bear of quite this species before.
No, that's kind of the thing we've been telling you about. There's
Oh,
something
this is
going
happening
on.
to people as well.
Yeah,
Sure,
these,
yeah.
these wigglers are wiggling out of people. And they're, well, no longer acting like people.
I see. It was acting quite erratic, wasn't it?
I'm gonna empty one
I'm
of
very
my.
impressed by you. I'm just, holy shit.
Yes, well, nothing a bit of elbow grease can't handle.
Oh my god.
Ezekiel,
Can you stay with us forever?
I'm gonna.
Perhaps for a bit.
You have a
Actually, I
spare
might.
container?
take the vitamin D container he gave you and just dump it out.
All right. Thank you. I'm gonna use the surgical scissors that I stole to cut one of these eye stalks off and jam it in that jar.
Oh,
Put it in
yeah.
my pocket.
Excellent. As you do, it's
I close that tight. Tight.
Yeah.
I close it.
it's still kind of like wiggling a bit as you as you cut
Great,
it off.
love it.
Yeah.
Excellent idea.
And I figure we can maybe study it, see what it is.
Yeah.
Right. If it's some kind of virus, we can maybe. I'm personally, this isn't my bag, but we can try and find someone, maybe on the mainland, who could kind of reverse engineer a vaccine of some sort.
I think it would be a bad idea to take this to the mainland.
Well, I mean, obviously, we would want it under lock and key, and would want to make sure that we're, with it at all steps to make sure things don't get out where they shouldn't be. But, I mean, who's to say this isn't already happening on the mainland? This could potentially not be an isolated incident.
Well, if it's already happening on the mainland, we won't need to bring a sample.
That's true, but I guess we wouldn't know till we get there.
Either way, it shouldn't leave the island.
I'm inclined to agree.
So, go rest for the night, and then are we trying to get to the mainland? What's the...
I don't see why we couldn't just stay at the manor. There's everything that we need there.
Well, eventually we'll run out of food and supplies.
Oh, I don't know. There's tons of food.
I mean, if it's isolated, people will come here, though, right?
I would also prefer if I could arm myself as well.
Do you have guns?
I feel
Certainly.
naked out
Trophy
here.
room, so I would assume there's guns. Never fired one before.
Do you normally carry a weapon?
Not typically, but I don't usually have a reason to on the island. But now it seems like there is a good reason to have one on the island.
Sure.
I feel like I need something to defend myself. I'm just out here. I'm just here.
What's your name?
I am Lord Byron Blistlewart.
Byron Bliss. Oh, Lord Byron Blistlewart. Okay. Just wanted to know your name if I was going to be giving you some of the family weapons.
Certainly.
Blistlewart?
Blistlewart, yeah, like the mushroom in Skyrim.
Did Constance run in this direction?
Constance fled deeper into the woods. Yeah.
Good for her.
All right, well,
She can stay there.
yeah.
They rub the stabbed part of my leg.
Yeah. A little bit of bleeding, but
Personally,
nothing too
I would
crazy.
have had hoped to leave her in the hospital, but, the woods is fine.
She probably had a better chance in that room.
We set the hospital on fire, right?
Oh, right, I forgot about that.
No.
Yeah, there's a good portion of Thistlewick that is just burning right now. There was like the Luminar Festival tree was lit on fire, and then shit hit the fan, so nobody was like watching it.
The night's weirdly, lit up.
Eerie
It's
glow.
oh, you can see more than you normally could.
Yeah, you're not sure if there's there's the usual haze of fog that kind of drapes over the land of Thorncroft, but there's also a scent of burning wood to it as well.
Like
We're
some
doing great, guys. We're doing wonderful.
ash mixing in with the snow, possibly, if there's snow.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that smell. It smells so cozy.
Right.
All right, onwards.
Sure.
Yes, do lead the way. Like reloading her blunderbuss.
I'm gonna go ahead and cross
Let's
out
lead the way.
Constance.
Continuing forward, eventually you do break through the tree line and enter a grassy area of lots of knolls. There's a beautiful silhouette of the mountains in the distance as well that kind of like disappear up into the fog and just give you like a hint of the outline in the moonlight. As you continue on, the imposing silhouette of the three-story St. Clair Manor home emerges from the mist like a snail shell floating to the top of a milky miracle elixir. Towering turrets and intricately carved stone facades cast a formidable presence against the now lightening gray sky. There's crawling ivy that clings to the exterior walls. And McCall, is there anything that I may have missed that you want to add to the description of St. Clair Manor?
I would assume that there'd be sprawling yards and They have a fountain? I guess it would be too cold at this point for it to be on or anything.
Yeah, there's a fountain out front that's not running. There's like a thick layer of ice over the still water that sits within. Probably a statue in the center of the fountain that depicts like a horse with a mouth that's usually spewing the water.
Do you have a staff that attends to your home?
Yes.
We
Well,
should make sure
We'll
that,
see how that's going right now, I suppose.
yes, we should make sure that they're not infected.
All right, one way to find out.
It is. It's eerily quiet, and it's. I mean, it's not odd that there aren't lights on in the manor at this time. It is like 4 a.m. at this point. You approach the front door of the manor house, and it is locked. But I presume you have a key.
Yeah, I pull out my chatelaine that's just chains and chains and chains of shit, like one with a bunch of keys. Here we go. All right.
You stick it in and turn the key, and there's no resistance, like it wasn't locked. You go to open the door again, and you realize that it's catching against something. It seems like the doors have been barred or barricaded from the inside.
Could somebody help maybe give a bit of a push? Let's see how
I can.
hard this is.
Oh, I have pretty good brawn. I can try to.
I also
push
have
it.
decent, but yours is better.
I mean, we can work in tandem.
Oh yeah. Can we do things together?
You can make it a planned action, and if one of you has adversity tokens, you can spend them for the other person's roll.
See if it's needed.
This is going to be a difficulty of 15.
I'll have to explode.
I love the phrasing. Hate the sound.
I don't think we're gonna be able to make it. I have a 10.
You like shoulder the door. I'll say as you do, you kind of like slam your shoulder, kind of like catch it, and peering back, you see actually in the exterior wood frame of the doorway, there appear to be little splinters of wood. Upon closer inspection, you just see the faintest glint of metal, as if perhaps some boards were placed up over the door and nailed from the inside.
Can I spend an adversity token to use my intuitive thing to try to... So I can ask you about my surroundings or an NPC or the like, and you must answer truthfully. Can I find any way that's like a window that's open or anything that like maybe another way in?
Yeah, go ahead and spend your adversity token. Looking for another way in. While you're looking, you all get this kind of unsettling feeling like you're being watched. And Ezekiel, you look towards the windows to see if maybe there's a way in that direction, and you see on the second floor movement of curtains, as if someone was just looking outside.
Hello? Hi?
I'm gonna knock on the door. I'm sure there's like horse head knockers or something.
sure,
And
yeah.
It's like, hello, I'm home.
Ezekiel, you
Start waiting.
you get this feeling like you see the curtains move, like somebody was looking out, but when you moved eyes that direction, they like tucked out of sight. You call out and there's no response, and you're thinking through, like there has to be another way in, and you remember that manor houses like this, typically, especially in a more elevated area, there would be a cellar, and usually in wealthier homes, the cellar is going to have wine in it, and therefore will also be connected to the main house.
Cellar. You have a cellar?
We do, yes.
Where?
Around back. And there's no response at the door or anything. I can't even hear scuttling of any feet in there.
Make a
Someone's
brains
inside
check
for
to
sure.
try and listen in. I've decided that brains is going to be perception now.
I like that.
That
That's good.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I get a +1 as an adult.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's a 9. Well, actually,
Uh,
that's close.
yeah, this is-
roll again.
So that's a 15 total.
15? Nice. Yeah, this was a difficulty of 10, so you well exceeded. And you can kind of like knocking, and as you knock, you put your ear up to the door, and you hear soft pitter-patter of feet. Doesn't sound like your father or mother, really even any of your servants scurrying away. It doesn't sound like an adult.
It's a baby horse.
What is one of the cults doing inside? Interesting. Well, let's try the cellar then. Apparently nobody's going to help us here.
Oh, I forgot to take one of these for the
yeah,
door.
for the door.
The fool. I should really try to do more things so I get more tokens, you know?
So you all traverse around, to the back of the manor house, which is a bit of a walk. It's a very expansive estate. And you do come to these two storm cellar doors. And that kind of like angled two wooden shutters, I guess, that you pull open. There was a chain around them, but you have the key to this chain as well.
And I stand back expectantly, waiting for somebody else to open them.
Yeah, you unlock it and step back. I'd say Dr. Angus steps forward after no one else does, and he kind of like stands to the side though and grabs it and will like pull it open from a safe distance. As he does, there's a bit of a kick up of dust, as it's not. This isn't a frequently used entry to the cellar even, but yeah, you find yourselves looking down into a darkened stairway that leads under the house.
Light a match.
Lantern.
No, I used it to explode a man.
I still have my
Thank you
lantern.
so.
Okay.
You light your lantern and head in, and yeah, as you all step into this dusty basement.
Do we want to leave it open behind us so that we can get out, or do we want to close it so nothing else can get in behind us?
Say close.
I think we should close it. There are bears around.
Is there a thingy where we can bar it
So
from the
probably
inside?
horses,
Yeah, there's a bar inside.
right?
I
I don't want
just imagine a horse falling into a hole.
Is the final boss?
Way
I'm
more
just
often than you
imagine
think.
we're surrounded by fucking zombie horses right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say final boss is a horse fight.
Oh no.
You all step down into the cellar and close the doors behind you and bar them with plank that's there. There's like settings to do so. You continue down and find yourselves in the St. Clair Manor wine cellar, which is well stocked with a number of rare vintages. Adelia, you see as Ezekiel is pilfering your home.
I don't think Adelia really cares.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
He's a
I
guest.
also take what I want.
This is not unusual behavior.
We'll have more.
Could I have some of the red?
Yes, go right ahead.
Thank you.
Do you ever mix it with white?
I didn't know if you preferred red or white, so.
I too
I
like
just
to
know
make
that-
my own blends.
Know that we're cooking steaks, so I grabbed the red.
Sure. We're cooking?
Ideally.
We're running around with raw meat right now.
Aren't you hungry?
I mean,
You know, we went to the trouble of getting the meat.
right?
Well, once we find the servants, we'll get them to rustle up some food. And boy, will they get a tongue lashing.
Also going to hold a bottle of wine like a bat.
Excellent. There is a wooden stairway that leads up to a door that leads into the manor itself. And this one also locked, but Adelia has the key and does not appear to have been battened down like the front entrance was. Stepping inside and kind of like maneuvering through the first corridor, again, very like dark Gothic Victorian home that you've entered. There's lots of creaking and you're not sure if it's just the house settling or perhaps whoever else is present. Inside, gilded chandeliers bearing long faded crystal tiers hang from lofty ceilings that echo with timeless elegance. Portraits of stern-faced ancestors peer down from their ornate gilded frames with eyes that seem to follow your every step with unsettling scrutiny. McCall, do you want to tell us more about the layout or features of the home?
Adelia is just like so chipper here, even though like she's just like used to these horrible portraits that just glare down at people.
This is my great grandfather. This is his favorite horse.
Yeah, there's like paintings of horses all over the walls too.
Yeah, every painting of like one of the patriarchs of the family is atop a horse.
Kissing a horse.
Yes, all the way back to Baron Arthur St. Clair the First.
Important question. Just based on our recent experience in the hospital, are there secret wall tunnels or like holes that people look through the paintings at us or
Is
anything?
there a man in your walls, or?
I don't think so, but then again, it wouldn't be very secret if I did know about it.
But I haven't seen Papa in a while.
Oh, is there any reason to think that something has happened here that's bad? Like, is everything pretty like neat and normal like it normally would be?
Make
just
brains
without
check.
People. That's a 4.
You know
There's
that
blood everywhere. I'm just like, that's fine.
Normal.
Yeah. Where is the maid?
Decorative.
Slacking, I think.
Someone
Yeah.
spilled paint everywhere.
it's not odd at this time of year that there's not a lot of butlers and maids around, because today was the day of Luminara Festival, and a lot of them have the day off for that. As begrudging as your father was to give it to them, it seemed the decent thing to do. So it's pretty empty. Hallway after hallway that will open up into these like foyers and little like living areas that have just like so many gilded picture frames and paintings, furniture in the corners and hallways that like nobody would ever sit here, but it's there and it's lavish. But no people.
Interesting. I wonder where everyone is.
Did your parents perhaps go to the Luminara Festival?
Well, yes, I think they would have been there, but maybe they had other things to attend to.
You would be aware that your father actually wasn't able to attend the Luminar Festival this year because he had a meeting with some of the other aristocrats of Thistlewick.
Of course. Papa, always busy.
Was he, just out of game, was he at the
seance.
Yeah, the function.
He was not.
No, he was not at the seance. That's where he would have been if he wasn't at, if he was allowed to go to the Luminara Festival.
Also, did you let us know that you saw someone in the
Yes.
window? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, well, we know someone is here. We just don't know who. Would your parents look at you through the window and ignore your presence for their own safety?
Probably not, I would think.
Alright, could be squatters.
The-
I say we go upstairs then, which you said you saw him up in the
yeah, second floor.
Alright.
Probably to help, right?
Unless they were all at the Luminara Festival, in which case they're...
Well, as long as it's not infected, I think that we're going to be okay. We'll just give them a stern talking to for locking me out of my own house.
Sure.
You guys continue through several corridors until you find like the main entry point where you see the front door.
Surgical scissors.
The front door has been completely boarded up, and there's about 4 large planks that have been nailed into the wall to keep that door from opening.
What have they done to my beautiful door? Such gaudy work.
It's like carved with horses.
And then behind you, you see 2 curved staircases that lead up to a mezzanine that then combines into a single staircase that leads up to the second floor. It's this very lavish
Hell yeah.
entryway.
Goals.
And yeah, there's a massive portrait centrally, like on the back wall, just under the mezzanine, of Baron Arthur St. Clair IV, the current horse baron of Thistlewick. And
There's Papa.
do you want to describe what he looks like?
I don't know if you'd be able to tell. I think he's very short. Kind of, he's got like a big belly and he's balding on top, but he's got like the big sideburns that turn into the big mustache thing, and he's wearing like a very nice tailcoat, like kind of gray suit, and he's probably holding a riding crop that's like super ornate for no fucking reason next to one of his prized stallions.
Yeah. It's like, there's like a stallion behind him that's like rendered in immaculate detail. Just like
Humanized.
every muscle is portrayed.
Oh no.
Yeah, probably like a monocle as well.
Yes.
So that same kind of like down the nose, looking over the space.
The horse?
Has a monocle.
Both of
the
them.
horse has
The
a monocle.
horse also has a monocle, yes.
Nice.
The horse it needs glasses, it has 2 monocles.
There's a
because-
mustache. There's a mustache taped to it.
No, it's one of those horses that has the little like beard.
Well, like, all of them can have that.
Well, this one
You
does.
trim it.
Horses have beards?
Yeah,
Some.
Oh.
You continue up to the second floor. It opens up into a long hallway and actually looks out into a central sort of courtyard. You can see the manor house is built in sort of a horseshoe shape. And along the back there's a massive gate, and you can see now as the sun has sort of started to peak over the horizon and burned off a bit of the fog, but it's still overcast. There's a massive courtyard with a number more statues of various horses in different poses, and at the back there's an iron gate that sort of completes the square shape of the estate. And then past that gate, another maybe like 100 or 200 yards, there's a massive stable house that you would presume would be full of the family's horses. What is the plan as you enter the second floor?
I would love to get some sleep, but do you have to find whatever degenerate has made a mess of my home?
Well, we could call out to let them know that we're here. If they're infected, which they're probably not, they would come to us. And if they're not, then they'll know that we're not infected and that we're here. I mean, they probably know that we're here. But...
Hello!
Oh, okay.
Come out, wherever you are.
You call out. Everybody make a brains check. This is going to be a difficulty of 10.
Oop,
That's
That wasn't my
5.
roll. That was just me dropping the die.
8.
Okay.
5.
We're not smart.
16.
There you
Nice.
go. She's smart.
There we go.
The three of you can all take adversity cards.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot to do that last time. too.
I have so many.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
no.
That's a good thing.
It's good. Save them
What's that
up.
one?
It's been a big session for you.
3 of wands. Two of
Two of
wands.
wands.
And a page of cups.
Nurse Blair. Adelia calls out, and you hear, again, the pitter-patter of what sounds like little bare feet. And it kind of like
Little bears.
the little bare feet scratching. They've infiltrated the home.
Sootlings.
Octavia, get your gun.
Wait, if they're baby bears, we can raise them to fight for us.
Oh, I don't think you can do that.
Unless they're already infected.
I'm with you on
There
that.
was that World War I bear
Wojciech
who drank alcohol and was dope.
and smoked cigarettes.
Yeah.
That's the craziest
I've
part to
got
me.
cigarettes and drugs. Let's
I've
go.
got a lot of drugs. We can drug a baby bear.
I like this idea, but we don't have that kind of time frame, I think.
A baby bear is pretty strong.
Yeah, Wojciech the bear.
Bare human feet were skittering across
So yeah,
the ground.
it's like a
Bear humans.
Who did that?
Yes, naked
Trying to
human,
create centaurs forever. We were talking about bear tars.
naked human feet. Yes,
The human is naked.
clapping. You hear the clapping of feet.
Is it feet or?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it feet, dick, or tit?
Oh, I was
Possible to
thinking
tell.
butt. Like cheeks. I was thinking clapping cheeks.
I'm assuming only the feet are naked. But
You hear footsteps.
Oh.
But you can't really tell the direction. You can't tell if they're coming from your left or from your right.
Do you have a younger sibling?
I don't think so.
We
Adelia,
never talked
Yeah.
about it.
Adelia is certainly an only child. But no one responds.
Split up.
Gosh, it sure is too bad that we've got all this food and nefarious drugs all for ourselves. I'd love to share them with somebody small and hungry, probably.
Make a charm check.
Sure.
This is going to be a difficulty of 15.
Gross. I don't like small people.
All right. That's a 7.
All right, take an adversity card.
I can
I'd just be like-
wait. I can help with that though. Wait, what was the
11.
check though? 15.
DC 15.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean we could make it happen. I'd have to spend all of my adversity tokens, but
7, 8, 9, 10.
but mine count double
Oh.
when I use them for others.
Nah.
Okay.
You call out, no response.
I think perhaps there's a sitling in your house.
Octavia straightens up. Are they dangerous? Still holding a massive gun covered in blood, the blood of a bear.
Yes, they're very dangerous. We're going to start firing into the walls unless we find it immediately.
No, put that down.
They're usually only dangerous when the silverware cabinet's unlocked.
It's always locked.
Adelia has never gotten her own silverware.
Yeah. There's a cabinet?
Well, should we split up and search out the little buggers and blast their heads off?
Don't blast their head. They're
don't
kids.
think what? Yeah.
Aren't they
No.
like little monsters, though?
No, they're
though, they
human
are.
kids.
They're like tiny gangsters, is my
Human.
understanding.
Tiny.
Well, maybe, but
I mean, they're kind of gross like monsters. So,
For those of you watching at home, because I don't
I was
think this
about
has
to
come
say, I
up
don't
yet.
think we've explained this.
Sootlings are, it's a gang of orphans, mostly chimney sweeps, who do various jobs for coin in in Thorncroft and all of Grand Albrosia. There's definitely a chapter in the Isle of Thorncroft. But yeah, it's basically like a gang of little orphan children who will act as spies or thieves. Some were paid to deliver a dead body from Cecil's mortuary to Thorncroft University. They're just kind of like,
Tiny assassins.
they are
Are they?
definitely human
I don't-
beings.
that's only a rumor.
Adelia's just a piece of shit.
Certainly.
They are unclean.
I don't want it touching things in the home. Just
look, they are not the enemy in this situation. And in fact, they are very resourceful. So, as you can see, if it is a sootling, they've infiltrated your manor and boarded it up for safety. So,
And might even have access to better travel when it comes to that.
I know some of the Sootlings, obviously, since they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Stuff
pay them
for
off
me.
sometimes.
So
Yeah.
I'll raise my voice so that they know that I'm here. I don't know any of their names necessarily, but I'll say
Make a brains check.
Tyler.
they're like the cat to you. They only have a
What's
job to
my
do.
difficulty?
Well, this is just to recall the name of a sootling that you've interacted with. I'm going to say it's relatively low. It's going to be a difficulty of 6.
it's still tough for me.
You got so many
I got a
adversity
6.
cards. Nice. Yeah, you you know of a couple of sootlings. You are familiar with one named Scuzzbug, as well as one that you're pretty partial to, Shitpants Boris.
I thought they have regular names.
Shitpants what was it?
Shitpants Boris.
Shitpants Boris? Scuzzbug. Is that you?
Are you saying words?
Perhaps one of their friends.
What are you saying?
This is Cecil Cobblemeat.
He's like,
Again, what are you saying?
Go ahead and make make a charm check. Make a charm check. This is going to be a difficulty of 8.
is Octavia just like,
That's a 5,
He's
but
lost
I
his
will
goddamn
spend
mind.
3 adversity tokens
Hey.
to get to 8.
oh, wow.
Excellent. At this point,
You broke her.
I just, every episode, I just want one moment where you break.
You need
Full on
Kleenex?
tears.
We have some Kleenexes down here. Would you like one?
Oh my god.
just wait till you guys meet the other sootlings. You round a corner into a hallway, and about halfway down the long corridor, Cecil, you call out, and stepping out from a doorway are 2 small, soot-covered children who exit a room about 20 feet ahead of you. One of them you don't recognize.
You hold Octavia back.
The other you do recognize as Scuzzbug.
Thank God. I didn't want shit pants in the manor.
How do how How do all of you react in this moment? And again, it is your.
I have no idea what's going on at this point.
Just to set the scene, you've rounded a corner of a hallway in this Gothic Victorian mansion. It's dark. The only light coming in is from these large, like, bay windows at the ends of the hallways, and even that is just like.
Oh, I have the lantern too. So.
Oh, and the lantern as well. Even more, just like dramatic lighting.
Mm-hmm.
It was the way nobody else reacted. It just got funnier.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
By
Flickers? Whoa.
by lantern light, and looking through the harsh shadows, these two soot-covered children, bare feet, wearing brown trousers that end around their calves, and shirts that were once white with suspenders over them, and just these like pearly white eyes looking out from their soot-covered faces at you, gaunt and look like they've seen some shit past their years, certainly.
Yeah.
Scuzzbug, I'm pleased to see that you're safe and not wiggling.
Oh, come on, mate. You hear pitter-patter behind you as well. And turning around, another three step out from another doorway.
This grosses Adelia out more than the wigglers.
You do recognize Shitpants Boris is one of the ones behind you as well.
Oh, so
Boris.
he is here. Delightful.
Pleased to see you as well, and your friends.
Yeah, right. What are you lot doing here?
Well,
How'd you get in?
she lives here.
This is my home.
And the boy standing next to Scuzzbug is a little bit taller, definitely a little bit older. He kind of like holds a hand on Scuzzbug's chest and pushes him back a bit and steps forward. He kind of looks over you all.
This is our house now.
Like hell it is, you little brat.
Are you going to make us fight children?
Can I?
He pulls out a revolver.
I'm gonna just like bear hug Adelia, just like keep everybody where they are.
Yeah, he pulls out a gun. You hear a couple of them behind you pull out guns as well. One of them has a Scuzzbug pulls out a billy club that's got some nails through the top of it. They kind of look over you.
You can stay here. If you can carry your weight. Nobody lives for free. Name's Dirty Nigel, the Gutter King. Who in the hell are you lot?
Hold on, I'm just making.
Hold on, Dirty Nigel.
Dirty Nigel, the Gutter King.
I love this.
The moment that we ideated the Sootlings, I was like, I can't not use this.
Of course.
Well, Nigel, I don't know how much you know about what's going on outside, but it's spreading.
Probably more than you.
I doubt that, but the spread of whatever this infection is overtaking human and beast alike. Our friend here slew a giant bear that was infected out in the woods just outside of here.
Shouldn't be too hard to take down a couple of children.
Well, that's not where I was going with this, but we have
Just
to
killed
work.
and she'll do it again.
It's important. For us
Dirtying
to
up my
work.
mana.
It's important for us to work together.
You know the rules, Cecil. You know there's always more of us around than you can see.
Well, that's why I always treat you with respect.
Right. Your friend there. She's not being very respectful.
To be fair, this is her home.
Not anymore, it's not.
Well,
There's no rules no more.
this can be all of our home while this crisis is going on.
That's what I'm saying.
We don't need to be brandishing weapons at each other. Those should be pointed at the infected.
You put yours down, I'll put mine down.
He motions at Octavia, who's still holding a blunderbuss. She's not aiming it at anyone yet. She's just kind of like
Well,
having a hard time standing still.
she can't really put that in her pocket.
She could put it on the floor.
I'm gonna make a charm check for Dirty Nigel.
Would it be charm or grit?
He's making a charm check, and Octavia will make a grit check to resist. Dirty Nigel does have a D10 to his charm, and he also gets +1 because he's a child.
Great.
Wonderful.
Also, he's royalty, so.
7.
King of the gutters.
Octavia has certainly got some grit. It's a D12. That is a 5. Since he was the attacker, she fails. She loosens her shoulders a bit and places the blunderbuss on the ground. He's like, all right, now kick it away. She does so, kicks it towards him. You see 2 more Sootlings come out from another doorway and grab the blunderbuss and disappear back into the door.
I learned that was quick.
Y'all seem to have a well-suited thing going on here. Like,
Right.
we'll
take care of our own.
We don't want anything to interfere. We just want to sleep for the night to maybe get out of here tomorrow. But
I bet they've got some food.
We've got some steaks. We have
One of
some
the kids from
candies.
behind.
Do you want any candies?
You want candies?
Those candies aren't
What are
suitable
those?
for children.
They're very suitable for children. They're candies. Children love candies.
What kind of candies are you?
That was sleepy time lozenges.
We know about you and your elixirs, Ezekiel. I've seen you in the town square selling your wares. I know what they do.
What they do?
All kinds of things. They can be useful too.
He puts the revolver back in the waistband of his pants. His like high-waisted pants. Sticks it in.
If we're going to work together, why don't we go cook some meat? And we can sit down and eat it together.
You got meat?
Who are you talking to?
I wasn't sure if you brought any with you.
Got wine.
All right, you're in.
Was there anyone else here when you infiltrated the home?
Couple butlers, we ran them off.
I'll give wine to children. It's fine.
Nigel lights a cigarette.
It's gonna be like just text over this whole scene. Don't give wine to children.
It was
Don't
another
give
time.
drugs to children.
Victorian age was very weird, y'all.
Like pulling out the laudanum. Do you want some laudanum?
Everyone was on drugs and drunk and hated women. It was terrible.
And the children did most of the work.
Yeah.
And
of the
most
violence.
of the drugs.
And most of the drugs.
They grow up fast. It's fine.
All right. Let's go down to the dining room then. Let's go.
And he snaps his finger, and you see as like a number of children come out from the doors and start kind of escorting you guys. One of them like reaches up and grabs your hand, Cecil. He's holding your hand as they go. They seem to be various ages, anywhere from like 4 or 5 to about 10 at the oldest. Except for Dirty Nigel, who seems to be like 12.
Nice.
But like a Victorian 12, so very small.
Yeah.
And 40.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
He's
maybe
4'8".
small but very old.
Yeah.
Nigel, have you noticed any of your compatriots repeating words or...
No, mate. We've been keeping close eyes. Seems like ones that get the worms in their brains, they get confused, can't see very well, and start forgetting things, start saying the same thing over and over. Usually, you can see it in their eyes. By that point, cut them loose or get rid of them otherwise.
That's what we've noticed.
It seems that once the infection really sets in, they're functioning mostly on auditory stimulation. They can't perform basic tasks, opening doors, using tools.
Sight.
Right, their eyes appear to be replaced with worms.
Yeah,
So-
they seem to get around using sound and smell, mostly. I see them sniffing the air in the streets.
Have you noticed whether or not being covered in soot is an advantage? Does it mask your smell? Have you
Maybe.
observed?
I'm not entirely sure, but, we've got our ways of getting around without being seen already.
Sure. Do you have access, by any chance, through your mechanisms to the port?
Tightberry Port. I mean, we've got ways of getting there. It's not easy. Long travel.
What could we exchange for help in that travel? I
We-
could treat any of you if there's anything.
Meat's a good start. Let's discuss business over dinner, shall we?
He opens the door into the dining room, and you see there's a couple
Are
more
they all
children
sitting
here.
down already?
There's a couple more kids that are already in here. Yeah,
They all stare in tandem.
just like chewing on like jerky.
Imagine a
it's-
table full of kids already sitting. Being
Yeah,
like,
for the number of children present, it's eerily quiet. Like
Their eyes all glow in the dark.
you
Did
just
they
see
all kind of look like old men a little bit?
a little bit,
Yeah.
but you can see like there are a few kids that like don't have soot all over them. There's a couple that are in hospital gowns as well. You get the sense this is probably the group from some of them are probably from the group of St. Haversham's who got out before shit hit the fan in the nursery. Dirty Nigel takes a seat at the head of the table in what is typically reserved for Baron Arthur St. Clair IV. Nigel kind of plops down, and you can see he's just like leaving a film on everything that he touches.
Oh God, the cross stitching.
I mean, you don't have to clean it, don't worry.
And he motions at some specific chairs across the table, putting out his cigarette and now lighting a pipe. He kind of like points with it. He's just like, you can sit down there.
Well, we need to cook the meat first.
What? Well, get on it.
Where's your kitchen?
Through the doors there. There's like a set of
They got somebody new.
there's a set of double doors that leads into this dining area that's connected directly to a kitchen. There's enough supplies and matches and straw and things that you can light up a stove and get a pan going. As you cook up some meats, what do you cook up and how do you prepare it?
Well, I've got some steaks on me, and I've also got some preserved meat, which would, be some sausages or whatever.
Nice.
Tri-tip.
Tri-tip and duck breasts
Yeah.
as well.
Hell yeah.
I mean, if you
and
want to
frog walk.
if you want to provide
Frog
those, then
walk.
I'll cook that too.
I mean,
Saddest- fattest
they gotta be
frogs.
used.
I'll look and see if there's any sides or other stuff that is in the pantry, like
Excellent.
breads or anything.
It's just tons and tons of horse meat turkey.
Yeah, there's lots of horse meat.
Oh, I need to supply
Gelatin.
supply this manor with some better quality meat.
And crazy glue.
So I'll cook up all of that and I'll bring it out as it cooks.
Excellent. Yeah, you do so. Serve everybody on some the finest china, and just like a lot of the kids are like sharing and will like pass bits to each other. As you come back out, you see that there's Dirty Nigel sitting at the head of the table, and immediately surrounding him are what look to be the six oldest looking of the children.
Where's Scuzzbug and Shit Pants in the order?
Scuzzbug and Shit Pants Boris are on the end.
Okay.
And as you sit down, he's like, allow me to introduce you to my outfit. You already know Scuzzbug and Shit Pants Boris. They both kind of like nod. And he motions towards a kid who's wearing like pretty threadbare clothes. It's like barely even a shirt anymore. He's got long like hair that might be blonde. It's hard to tell. That's Tatter. And across from him, Alley Cat. You see a little girl who's like very gaunt and has like the crazy eyes. And that's old baby Pete. And you see one of them who's like sitting like his right hand man is sitting next to him, is kind of like hunched over. They all kind of like give you a nod.
Question:
Is
does
that
it
an old
actually
man?
look like a kid?
It's hard
or
to
is it
tell.
An old man.
It's hard to tell. Very small, not like wrinkled, but also
Bald?
cherubic. He's wearing like a little like newsy cap. And yeah, hard to say.
Oh God.
Floating?
Baby.
Just checking.
No, just seated in a chair.
Sure.
So
Like
is
a-
old part of the name, like you are old baby Pete, and not just like, oh, this is baby Pete, and you're like, oh,
He's an old
it's
baby.
Old baby Pete.
Oh, baby. Yeah.
They're like a Tiny Toons version
Right.
of Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, basically. Tiny
Oh
Toons
my
Peaky
God.
Blinders.
So, why do they call you Shit Pants, Boris?
Dirty Nigel speaks up. We don't talk about it.
But
They all kind of like
directly
nod
do-
in unison. So,
You can't just ask someone why they're shit pants.
But if it's in their name, I just assumed. Alright.
When you become an officer, you get a title. Boris is his shit pants.
Seems like bullying.
He wears it like a badge of honor. Boris looks at you.
Is Boris crying?
No.
Okay.
He seems grizzled and
wants
hardened.
to?
No, he seems pretty stalwart for a little guy.
Are the catacombs infested?
Not yet, at least. I haven't seen any wood down there. But there's certain areas that are... they weren't properly closed. So it's only a matter of time before people start getting in. I don't know if it's going to be a safe means of travel for much longer.
Is that how you entered the manor, through the catacombs, or was it just...
We've got an entrance nearby, but not one directly into the house.
Understood.
Did they go north to Tarberry Port, or how far-reaching are they?
Well, I actually haven't heard from my outfit in Tartberry Port yet. Obviously, things... Obviously.
Little fucking kid.
Yeah. He's a preteen. Obviously, things are dangerous out there. And definitely travelling between the cities is going to be dangerous. We've seen a couple of deer that have got the infection as well, or we've been calling it the worms. I've got a feeling, based on my network and what I've heard, things leading up, eerie reports that I thought was just bullshit. I think it started at the fish cannery on the east side of town.
What makes you say that?
Well, the first report we got of some weirdo was a crazy man that was wandering around in the woods. Some of the kids saw him and said his eyes didn't look right, and he kept saying over and over, "Got to get the anchovies checked." And I looked into it. We identified him as one of the workers at the cannery. Not sure if that's where he got it from, but that's the earliest report that I got.
That was before the festival.
It was yesterday morning.
Does anybody else have...
Sounds
You and I witnessed an onset of
At the
infection.
festival.
Has anybody else seen...
the start. What's the first?
Right.
Yeah.
Where did the man who you were going to do the lobotomy on, where did he work? Do we know?
Do I know anything about him?
Cranston Bray, you don't know what his occupation was.
Do I know what his occupation
Anybody
is?
familiar with Cranston Bray?
Yeah, you'd be more among the people, I feel like.
Oh no, Cranston Bray.
Old baby Pete speaks up.
All right.
Yeah, he works at the mill.
Flour mill.
Yeah.
It's worth considering that possibly any processed foods could be sources of infection. Anything like
Flour,
canned
anchovies.
flour.
But not the meats we just ate.
I trust Cecil's meats.
Thank you.
Cleanest butcher in all of Thistlewick.
And
Maybe all
also-
of Grand Albrosia.
Additionally, Cecil is the only person working in his butcher shop, which limits the sources of infection.
Yeah.
Not as many people touching and coughing all over
Mills
things.
have a lot of grouping of people.
Hundreds of hands.
Well,
Hundreds of snotty, disgusting noses.
the butcher shop does have one additional employee.
Right.
Pet the cat.
But that means that the butcher shop doesn't have rats either, which are
That's
spreaders of infection.
that's the goal.
I presume the flour mill probably has... Oh. I don't want to think about it.
Well, we still don't know what the cause is or the source, but more information is always helpful.
We saw a bear.
How did,
An infected bear.
Infected bear.
how did
badass.
Dr. Bithers... was anybody with him when... By what means did those fingers come off? Does anybody know?
No.
I don't know nothing. He kind of like looks around his officers. They all kind of shrug.
too bad no one was with him to know. Oh,
Strange.
do you know something?
Make a charm check, and Nurse Blair, you can make a brains check.
Okay. That's a 7.
That's a 6.
Damn.
That's a 7.
Meets it, beats it. Lady Adelia St. Clair is not letting on all that she knows about something. She's being cagey. Nurse Blair will remember.
Yeah, just
Just
poking
eating.
things around.
Are you not hungry?
Oh no, it's fine. It's delicious.
It's late.
You lot look tired. Ted. There's plenty of bedrooms. Obviously, we'll be standing guard outside your room, so there's no funny business, but you should get some rest. I've got some, well, before you shove off, I've got some business I'd like to discuss with you. You see, I've got some contacts at a steel mill in the factory district. They manufacture a number of things, mostly just raw steel that's then shaped at other factories, but this one in particular, because they've got so many crucibles and there's such a high demand, they're the biggest output of ammunition. They get shipments of black powder in, they go ahead and they mold the bullets themselves and then pack them with black powder, ship them out. They've got a warehouse in the back end. I haven't heard from my contact there since, well, last night. I can't ask a lot of these here to be going out into that dangerous of a situation. And I do thank you for bringing me the food. But as it stands, you are still grown-ups. So I don't like to rightly trust all of you yet. Obviously, Cecil, we're good. But how long have you known these folks?
Well, I haven't known them long, but we have faced some terrors together. And we've helped each other. There were some with us that were not found to be trustworthy, but they're gone now.
I see. Well,
Several of these folks have saved me, so
you see, lots of bullets, kind of heavy. We're all pretty small. We don't get a lot of food. But you lot look big and strong. If I can get you safely to that warehouse, and you can get the bullets, bring them back here, we'll share the spoils with you. We can hunker down, make this a safe place. Maybe make a plan for getting off of this rock. How's it sound?
well, it is a dangerous proposition. We'll need some trust from you. We'll need arms.
Arms can be provided. But again, we're low on ammunition. Getting here wasn't easy.
Well, hopefully we won't have to use much ammunition, as firearms will draw the attention of the Wigglers.
Also, as a show of good faith, we'll keep the doctor here. Call it leverage.
Dr. Angus is kind of like,
I'm sorry, what?
How many of these kids, something's just occurred to me. How many of these kids have rickets?
hang on.
You Googling rickets?
Yeah.
It's caused by lack of sunlight and it was really common in this era for
Affects
factory
the
children.
legs and yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
bone development.
Yeah.
A good number. Yeah. He kind of looks over. He's like,
Partially leverage, in case you try to take the spoils and leave for yourselves. I happen to know that there's a relation between the doctor and the nurse. So, that's your incentive to come back.
Probably be safer for the doctor to remain here anyway.
Probably.
Right. Also, a lot of these kids came from the hospital nursery. They need looking after still.
Dr. Angus, takes a small bite of meat and chews on it. And he's like,
Right, well, I think that's agreeable. I don't think it would be a great idea for all of you to go out into danger, but the young man actually raises a good point. We've got nothing in terms of supplies. We're going to have to restock somehow, and perhaps while you're gone, I can discuss with the Gutter King.
Nigel nods.
His Royal Highness of the Gutter. Yes.
You can call me my liege.
I fucking love this kid.
Right? Myself and Your Excellency can discuss perhaps plans to travel to Tartberry Port and procure a ship that we can take to the mainland.
Right.
How do you presume that we get to this factory district? Is it underground, or would be able to take horses?
Horses would be faster, but they draw a lot of attention. Hooves is loud on stone, you see. But
Could we bring horses underground?
I know of some entrances that are exactly the size that a horse could fit through.
Horse-sized, exactly.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
But
I never thought that we'd be bringing horses to the catacombs.
It should be stated, though, I haven't been out to the stables since all this went down, so I don't know what it's looking like out there.
If they meet other horses down there, they're gonna fight. It's gonna happen.
Again, I can arm you. I can give you a bit of the ammunition that we've got left to take with you. But getting the horses from the stable is going to be your own business. I'll lead you to the entrance of the catacombs if that's the route you want to go, and take you to the proper exit. And then from there, it's on you to get the ammunition and get back.
I feel like horses in the catacombs would be cramped. Make it difficult to maneuver. But we
There's
would
some spaces
potentially
that are
be
more
faster.
open than you would think.
So dark.
Perhaps.
How far ahead can you see while riding a horse? Even with a lantern.
I don't know. I'm not a horse rider, and I don't go into the catacombs. Not, because I don't respect your work down there, but the rats, of course.
Thousands of
Visibly shivers.
Well, sleep on it. Let me know what you've decided in the morning. We'll show you to your rooms. Old baby Pete, shit pants.
Nurse Blair, could you help me with this injury that I have before
Oh, yes.
we adjourn for the evening?
Let's see. I have pretty much everything.
I have one harm. Is it possible
Yeah.
to get that tended to?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say no rolls required. You treat his area where you can see the needle went in and there was a bit of tearing as it was pulled out quickly. You stitch it up just in case.
Nice.
And you can remove your harm.
The harm was actually from the previous session.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, from hitting your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which probably also needs stitching.
Yeah, definitely. That's head wounds bleed a lot.
I'm just gonna wrap it in bandage too, like that.
Yeah.
The look all around the head.
Excellent.
Nice.
You are led to your rooms, and Adelia, do you insist on being taken to your own room?
Yes,
Okay.
my bedroom.
They budge and they take you, and there's 15
also,
guest rooms in this house.
Can we
I-
stay in rooms close to that room at least?
Oh, I'm gonna force my way into Adelia's room.
There's plenty of other rooms.
Girls' night.
I don't understand. What? Girls' night?
Girls' night.
I'm sorry, I
Girls' night.
never had any girlfriends.
I'll give you a
or
bottle of wine and walk off.
sisters.
Girls' night.
Okay. Delia's very confused.
The two of you have girls' night on probably on the third floor. as you head into your rooms, and the men of the group are split up into 2 groups, but also room together. Each of these rooms, there's like 15 rooms, and they all have king-size beds, and like all the fixings of lavish lifestyles are present for you as you enter for the night. And that's where we're going to end this episode of Top Hats and Tombstones. Stay tuned
For more
next week's
shit
episode.
pants.
For more shit
Oh
pants.
man. Oh baby Pete.
Oh, baby Pete.
And she was just going, help me, help me. He got there. She looked up. Her eyes was already bugged out. She was just saying, help me over and over again. Grabbed his leg, tore it straight off. I ran.
Oh. So, he's probably lost, and if not infected by now.
He probably bled out after his leg got ripped off, yeah.
No. That's very sad to hear.
One of the massive smelting crucibles has tipped from its resting place. A mass of formerly molten iron and steel forms a wave of metal that has frozen solid. And within it, you can see that there are bodies of several unfortunate factory workers caught in the path of the once molten metal. Some of the bodies are still thrashing what limbs are exposed in a desperate attempt to free themselves. Squishy stalks pulse from their skulls
Okay,
as,
there's
as they ceaselessly squirm in their metal tubes.
Yeah, I know some Sootlings, yes.
personally, or
Well, there's one in here with me. We were conducting a business deal.
Which Sootling is with you?
Of course.
It's Fart Pisser.
no, it's not. No, it's not.
Down on the ground, screaming and thrashing, and there is a horse standing over him with its jaws around his midsection, and it's like shaking him. And you see eye stalks pulsing on the horse's head. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw and you want even more Arcanarama goodness, you can head over to patreon.com/Arcanarama, where the low price of $5 gets you access to a whole host of content, like the Chaos Hours, our post-show talkback, where we chat with each other about the things that happened in the episode and give you a peek behind the Dungeon Master's screen. The Guardians of the Phoenix podcast, where it all began, as well as monthly art drops with character art that you can use in your own games at home. The $5 tier gets you access to all of those goodies, but there's also a $3 tier if you simply want to be noticed by your senpais. So without further ado, huge shout out to all of this month's Patreon supporters. Definitely Not Sam, Scott Shear, Nita Yilva, Eric Firm, Freya Odensdottir, Robin Stone, Tina Holt, and Al. See you in the next one.